George Washington Bridge. And the cabby turns around and he says,
Hello and welcome to possibly the first episode of the Nothing But Respect podcast. We'll see. Maybe it'll be backfilled. We don't know when you'll be listening to this. I am Harry Krinsky. I am a freelance podcast producer and creative director if I'm talking to a venture capital firm. I am joined by Patrick Redford, writer for Defector. Patrick, how are you?
Good. Michael Jordan Lenderman just dropped his new album, and you're wearing a Bulls long sleeve polo. And we started recording because you had an MJ Lenderman anecdote.
Yes, exactly.
That's the wrong word, but you know what I mean.
We were talking MJ off air because his album just came out. MJ Lenderman, big. I described him as he's the first guy to write girl folk for the fellas.
I think that's facts.
Yeah, he's probably not the first guy to write girl folk music for the fellas, but he's doing it.
He's doing it.
And one of the ways he connects with the fellas is he throws in a lot of sports references into his music in ways that I think are really beautiful and imaginative. He's got this whole song about the Jordan flu game and whatever, uses all that stuff. And I was oh, go ahead, yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say that's kind of a thesis statement for like his whole thing, I would say.
Totally, he's like weaving in a era of pop culture references that you don't typically see in the folk genre or whatever.
Yeah, and there's like a scuzziness to it. Like it's like called Hangover Game, and it's about like lying that you have the flu because you've been drinking, but he's not judgment. He's like, I love drinking too. He says it like
right,
and that's the first song on the live album, which is like where I sort of got put onto him about a year ago.
Yeah, no, and he's got a great Dan Marino reference in one of these songs, and I was actually talking to one of my brother's friends is a folk singer, and I guess kind of knows him nominally, MJ Lenderman nominally, and said that he really does love hoops. Like he loves basketball, and that I mean, you don't find yourself writing about the Jordan flu game if you don't love basketball.
I think I read somewhere in an interview that he used to be a real hooper. He got buckets.
Like a bucket getter.
Yeah, he got buckets, but he said he stopped playing because he wasn't. He hated like the competition of it. He hated like people losing. He didn't like how people took it too seriously, I think. So he's like a Ronin. Honestly, he's like a wandering hooper. Like he likes buckets in the pure aesthetic sense. Like he's not like he wants undiluted buckets, which I think is kind of beautiful.
That is really true. That's actually that. We talk about the basketball being completely abstract in its aesthetic form in a bad way, with people being like Instagram slop, but he is doing it in the artful way. He's like extracting the aesthetics of basketball toward making songs that make like 27-year-old dudes cry, which is
true.
An ethical art. I of course support that. But so what I was talking about off mic is I was complaining about my journey to try to book MJ Lenderman, because I'm a producer. I'm in these streets. I'm trying to get.
Yeah, you're sending emails.
I'm sending emails, exactly.
Creating I had a run of show Google Docs.
Exactly. Yes. Actually, I want to. Well,
not to break the fourth wall.
Yes. A few weeks ago, I hit up MJ Lenderman's press because I wanted to do for Good Hang. I wanted to do an interview with him. Immediately rejected, with respect, because it's an indie Substack. That's fine, but I was also like, okay, that's fine, But I still think he could be talked to somewhere. So I work with some folks. I won't name the specific podcast, but I'm pitching it out to these basketball related shows that I work with, and I'm like, you guys should interview MJ Lenderman about basketball, and I'm just getting I'm getting crickets from the mainstream media. They don't want to talk to MJ Lenderman.
They're silencing him and themselves in the process.
I'm giving you the opportunity, and I'm not up on this always, I'm saying he is going to get an 8.3 on Pitchfork.
Dude, the review just dropped. Oh, do you want to guess the actual score? I mean, you said 8.3.
I think it's actually 8.6.
It's 8.7. Wow. Good work. Best new music. Yeah.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. I mean, it's a great album. So I'm like, hey, folks at the mainstream media, you can talk to him before 8/7. Like he's not returning their calls now.
Yeah, no, he's too big time. You gave them the opportunity to get in on the ground floor, but then now it's over.
So Lenderman, look, if you hear this, if your pressers hear this, we want to talk to you about real hoop. Like,
you can say whatever you want on here.
I'm sure you went on How Long Gone and you were like, I like these guys, but I wish they knew ball more.
I wish any of them knew who Monte Morris was. Then we could have a real conversation.
Exactly. Or like is he from Buffalo? He might be a Boston fan.
He lives in the Carolinas, so maybe he has like really deep fried like JT Thor and like LaMelo Ball takes, which this is a safe space for those.
Come on, hey, listen, come on, I'll tell you what Rex Chapman's like. He's a nice guy. No, but there's one more top of the docket thing I want to talk about before we jump into the sort of the meat and potatoes of this, will be a couple, what I would describe as a tale of two posts, which we will kind of bridge the uncanny valley between these two posts. But I want to talk about the upworthy happy news of the day, which is that Carmelo Anthony and George Karl have finally squashed the beef, seemingly because of division in the country.
Yeah, they have come together because I'll read the tweet to you. In a time of division, where coming together truly matters, which I think is the money sentence. I'm done feuding with Carmelo Anthony. I have tremendous respect for Melo. We don't know each other now, but I hear he's kicking butt and using his influence for positive impact. It's all love now from here out. Blue heart emoji, orange heart emoji. Now, this sort of seems to me that he has laid down his arms, but it's unclear. Like it seems like pretty explicit. Like this is not a unilateral agreement. Like Melo has not agreed to cease hostilities here. Is how I'm reading this. I
totally agree. It's a pointedly one directional. The beef is done. For maybe those who don't know, George Karl and Carmelo Anthony feuded for a long time, where Carmelo was in his like early prime, just getting absolutely filthy buckets for the Nuggets, and he was, I suspect, a really tough guy to coach. I mean, he was like a 23-year-old superstar who didn't fucking play any defense and bank shot twos, and everybody loved him. And was clearly one of these guys who was so talented, but couldn't take it to that next like winning basketball kind of way.
Yeah. Which is a pretty harsh like valley to be in, like to be like the 8th best player in the league, but like not a consequential one.
Yes, totally. And George Karl, I think, is one of the last bastions of the like total pre-player empowerment movement, where he was like, my players fucking suck because they don't play defense.
Player disempowerment is a pretty good way to describe his whole thing.
Right. And he was a great coach. Like wasn't he the Kings coach right before this?
Well, I was going to say, this is like my main association with him is in the sort of like, I think it was the early Vivek era when the team was just like pure brick, like ass. They hired Karl halfway through the season because he just clearly wanted to move up like extra 10 wins on the all-time list and pass, I forget who.
And Don Nelson.
It was just such a disaster and everyone hated him. And I remember Boogie Cousins tweeted out one of my favorite posts, which is the grass emoji, the snake emoji, and then the grass emoji. And this is sort of around Paul Pierce emoji gate. So this is the posting meta of the day. And he's just calling his own coach a snake in the grass via semi-cryptic emoji tweet. Like that's my main association with him. And everyone fucking hated him. But I do have to say, like, going to Karl's Twitter now, like, there's a lot of good stuff. He quote tweets himself here of the Melo tweet and says, he's talking to the Nuggets owner here. He says, "Hey, Josh, invite Melo and me to a Nuggets game. We will both be there celebrating Jokic and team." And then his most recent retweet, and this is like very relevant to today's subject matter, is an NBA Central retweet of an aggregation of something Zach Lowe said on his podcast about Jamal Murray. So this guy is like a real, if not poster, real post reader.
Yes, in the true And you can tell he is not fluent with the like he's not greasing the wheels in the right way. You know, he's showing his hand a little bit too much. Like I read this initially and I'm like, all right, dude, when's the book coming out? Like he's like, all right, you want to get on the Jesus and Mero Carmelo podcast and fucking plug your book? That's fine. You got to be a little bit like maybe DM him or something. But I mean, I'm curious about like what the beef really was, because it always has seemed somewhat acrimonious, and Carmelo now has done Carmelo has done the best PR, like post-career PR of anybody ever, I think. Like he basically was considered mostly like a slightly unrealized potential superstar his whole career, and is now like the GOAT, hoodie Melo, Olympic Melo guy.
Well, like he was there at the Olympics. Like he's one of the best USA basketball players, and he was treated by basically everyone as like the celebrity guest of men's Olympic basketball. Like I seem to remember someone giving him a high five, like he was courtside, and I think like LeBron gave him a high five as like going back to the huddle or something, which is like, it's cool that we just sort of have an emeritus guy who everyone loves. Like I feel like he is, given sort of the limitations of him as like a championship winning type player, it is cool that he has like that level of sort of respect and acclaim among his peers, despite not having the rings to back it up, which is like, okay, whatever. Like, so you can see, like, it's interesting the way players respect him more than like the numbers would show, which I like.
Me too. Completely. Yeah. He has an element of like your favorite player's favorite player.
That's a good way to put it.
Which is like you said, makes sense. I was a bit of a in real time Melo hater because it just felt like he wasn't. He was in this category of top 10 players, but he didn't play defense or like kind of make winning plays in a way that I wanted out of a top 10 person. But looking back on it, he just was an extremely exciting bucket getter.
Yeah,
in a way
amazing.
That it has aged really well. Like it's really fun to watch Melo Nuggets highlights.
I'm trying to think of a comp for him. It's sort of like if you gave Paul Pierce like an injection of LeBron James juice. Like he kind of has that like slow-ish turnaround herky-jerky thing, but like he'll just kick the shit out of guys. Like he'll get in the post and turn like an 18-footer into a 9-footer. Like he was so strong. Like those Knicks teams, I really liked those Knicks teams. They were cool.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's not quite this because the end-to-end athleticism is not there.
Yeah.
But the only person who them catching the ball at like 12 feet and turning around and facing up, and I'm like, oh shit, something fucking cool is gonna happen, is Zion. Like that's the and you know they do it a little bit differently, but if Melo got the ball where he wanted it, either on the nail or kind of mid post, like it was gonna be surgical.
Yeah. I'm now remembering some crucial Melo Nuggets lore, which is that I don't know if it was my first formal smooch, but I had like a very meaningful kissing experience during the Nuggets-Lakers 2009 Western Conference Finals. So
wait, talk to me a little bit more about this.
This is a story for another time. But I remember it was the Nuggets. I think they were tied one. It was like a close series at some point early, and I was a big Lakers hater at the time, and probably still am. And I remember like being really into that Nuggets team, and also being very much a high school kid. And it was great.
That's really difficult. Like, you know, when you're in high school and you're trying to like land one of your first 4 kisses or whatever, you're trying to do it generally while watching a movie, right? And you're trying to like pick the correct moment in the movie to kiss. And that is difficult. That's like rocket science to a 15-year-old. Yeah. I can't imagine doing it for a live NBA Finals game. That's complicated.
Yeah, just
I guess
being
the
like,
longer
that's
TV timeouts maybe helped. Like,
yeah,
was that?
Yeah, 3-minute breaks, and then you're just like, yeah, you know, Ronaldo Balkman should be playing more off the bench. Like, you want to smooch? Like, that's who doesn't want that? Like, as long as you can, you know, correctly diagnose that Kenyon Martin is shooting too much, like you'll impress your date. Like,
totally,
as long as they respect ethical hoops.
All right. Well, speaking of ethical hoops,
Ooh.
we're talking Brazil here.
We're talking Brazil.
Yeah,
This is the Brazil episode.
The home of ethical hoops. No, we're talking Brazil because really, I said this at the top, but to me, it is a tale of two posts. It is the first post was, or the most recent post, I should say, was Daryl Morey tweeting the dictionary definition of the word liberal and a post to a paywalled The Economist article. Okay. About Elon and the current president of Brazil's feud over free speech. Basically, the top line of the political side, and then we'll dive into the ball side. The top line is there are like 7 to 12 disinformation Brazilian Twitter accounts that the Brazilian government wants to have banned from X or deplatformed or whatever, and Elon's like, no. And then that has spiraled into this feud that has landed, at least at the time of this recording, Twitter to be banned in Brazil with a fairly harsh fine if you are caught.
It's like almost 5 figures, right? It's like $8,000.
It's like life-ruining amount of money if you get caught posting.
Oh, man, like imagine the person running like Hunter Schafer updates, like furtively using several VPNs to get these posts off and risking like a life-damaging fine.
Totally, like
that's the love of the game right there.
Or like a complete in a complete switch up. Wait, fuck, this is a good reference. I just need to land it. Glenn Greenwald gets imprisoned in Brazil for posting, and then the whistleblower has to then go save Glenn Greenwald. Like, fuck, what's the fucking guy's name? Snowden. Snowden has to go save Glenn Greenwald from posting jail.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
That could be something really thoughtful. But anyway, that's something. We're gonna get to that, but the bracketed post on the first half is really where I want to start, which is the first time most Twitter heads, most NBA heads got Brazil on the mind, which was after the Timberwolves got out to a hot start and beat the Heat at the start of last year to go to 1-1 on the year. The Twitter account at Timberwolves Brazil, which is a Twitter account completely unaffiliated with the Timberwolves, tweeted a cartoon of a giant wolf eating a cat, but eating a cat.
I was wondering what verb you were going to use there.
Well, I wanted to say, and actually eating is important, as we'll get to later. But
that's true.
Eating a cat in a way that is sexually evocative. Like it looks like he's like it basically looks like the cat is a penis and he is sucking the cat.
He's absolutely chowing down on that fucker. Yeah.
Yes. And it said 1-1 votamos.
Votamos. Yeah. And the wolf itself has this sort of like, it looks like a person in a yassified version of a person in a fursuit.
Yes.
It's like you watch the verb is instantly legible as like sexual, but then the wolf itself, you look at like that wolf is very evocative. You see that and you're like, something's going on here.
You're right. It is a little bit like Fortnite OnlyFans flip. Like it's something. It's like deviant art type. It's kind of from the art corner, the deviant art corner of the art world.
It's like there's like an 18 plus in the bio if you see that anywhere like floating around on Twitter. Like
so,
and this happens after their first win, right?
Yes, 1-1.
And so they have this incredible season, but like when they post this, it is not clear whether or not like whether or not this is actually responsible for the good season.
Yeah, but it is it to the I think that's a really good point, and the one of the telltale sort of like team of destiny type things is when a kind of gimmick coincides with a unexpectedly good season. That's like always like ultralight beam vibes, and no pun intended. The first year of the beam was a great example of that, where everybody got really excited about that. So, yeah, I wanted to ask you, what was your early experience with the Timberwolves Brazil? Like, how did that hit you? Where were you at with that?
I was all in because it's sort of in conversation with my favorite post from Brazil, which is a tweet from Jair Bolsonaro in November 2020. It's the Bom Video, where he posts this video of himself.
I don't know about this. Okay,
It's like flattened, where the proportions are like, where he's squished down, where he's like a little guy who's like equally wide as he is tall. And then like the worst song of all time is playing over it, and he just tweets "Bom Video, thumbs up." I'll put it in the chat now. And so there's a certain tenor to Brazil posting that I was very interested in. So seeing this, it felt sort of in conversation a little weird. Our whole staff was very into it. After every win, the first thing I would go to is Timberwolves Brazil and see what weird shit they were posting to celebrate. And their range of weird shit was really impressive.
Yes, their range of weird shit was really impressive. It then kind of, I got the sense, sort of tilted a lot of people's algorithm slightly in the direction of kind of weird posts. Like I remember then like or maybe people were just being opportunistic and jumping on the train, but I remember seeing Warriors Brazil or Warriors, some weird like quasi-sexual Warriors posts. And it really did feel like an undercurrent. So much like slop comes out of the NBA season of and I don't mean slop in the the way that the Trill Bro dude uses it to describe like trades, which is good slop. I mean, this is like the AI slop. Just like
sludge.
Yes, like just like garbage content detritus. This was an example of one of those like, this is why it's fun to follow the NBA online, is you get these moments of pure sort of uncanny beauty.
Yeah, and it couldn't like you can sense that there's nothing cynical about it. Like it is an honest and semi-pure art object, which is a crazy thing to say about that video, but that's how I felt about it, because like you say, you see all these posts, you see this sort of cynical posting meta where people are like, oh, this is what's popular, I'll do that. And then to have something totally, unique, honestly. And also like there's a real love to it, because it's like if you live in Sao Paulo and you like know who JJ Barea's stats the year he was on the Wolves, like you kind of deserve to get those tweets off, I think.
Very well put. Yes. The whole thing was beautiful. So that was a through line of the NBA season. That why we're talking about this is that Brazil account is, as of right now, banned from existing because of the kind of aforementioned beef. I want to read a little bit about. There was a great Miles Klee wrote a fun interview with the Brazilian poster Rodrigo Barbosa. Sometimes I find sort of like mini profiles of like people behind accounts to be boring or just like uninteresting, because it's like, okay, yeah, this is a guy. Like it always is just like, yeah, I thought it was funny to post this stuff.
Yeah.
But I thought this was a really fun article. A few really funny parts of it was one, a claim that I'm not sure I believe, which is that he had no conception of the fact that it was like furry porn, what he was posting. Barbosa claims that the fetish stuff, this is per the article, isn't anything he's into personally. No, man, he says. I only look for funny videos that have wolves in them, just that. And he's also not up in the world of furries, a subculture based on anthropomorphic, blah, blah, blah. To be completely honest, until last year, I didn't even know what furry was, he admits. I always thought they were, quote, funny wolf videos. I had no idea there was a community about this. Timberwolves wins are my fetish, my only fetish. What do you think about that quote?
I think this is great because, if you look at his oeuvre of like the 40 or so wins they posted before the account was banned, like there is a very clear psychosexual through line. Like, and I don't think you're really reading too much into it to see that there's like a lot of clear themes. Like the plot of a lot of the little videos he posts is like someone getting eaten. It's a kind of vory. It's like someone getting consumed in a pretty sexual way, I would say. What I like about this is he's revealing that like maybe he has some psychology going on. Like maybe he is not, I don't know, whatever. If he's into this stuff or not, doesn't really matter. But like the fact that it's unexamined but is a theme is like very, very, like there's something going on there.
Completely. Like I'm imagining him on a sort of an analyst couch being like, so one of the things I do is I run this basketball account that tweets out photos of wolves having sex with doing mouth stuff with other animals.
But it's not sexual.
But I want to be super clear. It's just because I think wolf videos are funny.
Yeah, this is just business and something I think is cool.
Yeah, the analyst's like pen is breaking. He's writing so fast. So whatever. Shout out to Rodrigo Barbosa. One way or the other, I don't care if he actually is involved in it sexually. I think there is a kind of funny possible take here too about one of the through lines about online culture writ large is that everything is very pornographic and nothing is erotic.
That's a really good way to put it.
And I have smarter people than I came up with this notion, but it's this idea that there's so much like boobs and overt sex happening every day, TikTok dances with people in states of undress, all that stuff.
It's just so direct.
Exactly. Right? But there's not a kind of like there's not a kind of non-direct or like inferred sexuality
it's not interactive in a way, right? Like it doesn't involve like the subject and the object sort of like, I don't know what the verb there is, but like like moving beyond just like the image on the screen.
Completely. There's not to say that this is erotic, but it is a funny yeah, exactly. I don't hate speech, but but there's an element of let me put it this way. There's no way that an American account would not know that this was a furry thing.
Yes.
There's something kind of uniquely non-American about this kind of thing. And to this point, the one final quote that I want to read from this profile was a really funny one, which maybe ties this whole thing together, which is, in Brazilian Portuguese, the word we use for eating can also mean fucking. And Brazilians use this terminology a lot for various purposes, but in this case, it basically means that the wolves will fuck you up. To keep things fun, it evoked other videos, whatever. So that,
at this point, the analyst is making the gesture with the open hands, like in like a game of charades, where you're like, "Come on, it's like just say it. It's right there. Like it's on the. You should be realizing this now."
Totally, it's the scene in Good Will Hunting where the analyst just walks out and is like, "I can't deal with this guy."
Just like, what's going? Yeah,
he was hard the whole time talking about the wolves. He claims it's not sexual.
The other sort of foreign account here, there's a Sacramento Kings France account that I'm up on. Where it's three French guys who they're fellow podcasters. They live in France, and they like wake up in the middle of the night to watch Kings games and like post about it en français. And do you know who Anne Fong is?
No, I don't.
She's
think
like
so.
She's the Billboard attorney who I rock with the most.
Okay, got it.
And she sponsors both the Warriors and the Kings. And I knew that these France guys were real heads because they know who Anne Fong is because she sponsors the replay segment. And so just seeing something wrong, call Anne Fong written out in French was like a very beautiful moment of cross-cultural exchange, I thought.
That is awesome. Yeah, that's shades of kind of Shane Co. here at the Shane Co. Whatever.
Exactly. But France is not as funny is not the right word. They're not as a vibrant posting community as the Brazilian NBA community, as I understand it.
No, and that's actually a great segue to a kind of further deep dive I started doing because, I certainly do not come to this podcast for a breakdown of the Brazilian political system. But I did find I started doing a little deep dive because I was like, what's going on with this? I am a long time absolute hater of Elon Musk, so I love anything related to his downfall. And so I started poking around, and Ryan Broderick of the excellent Garbage Day newsletter wrote a piece sort of breaking this down, and this sent me on this journey. And one of the things that he outlined was why basically he was asking completely unrelated to basketball. He was just asking why is Twitter so popular in Brazil? Why does it matter so much there? And it's true. It had there's a lot of Bolsonaro had a lot of Twitter disinformation issues. This current what's the fucking word? Current group of people in power in Brazil. Administration. Thank you. Sorry. Had a lot of disinformation stuff. It's a common theme in Brazilian politics, as I understand it.
Glenn Greenwald is like personally responsible for about 1% of the electricity grid with his like 10 posts and streams a day from his rescue dog farm.
Yes, he's using he's using like an eighth of the Brazilian GDP to like call Hillary Clinton a bitch or whatever.
Yeah, he's personally responsible for deforestation.
Yes, exactly. The history of this is basically kind of why is posting so popular in Brazilian culture? There was this bizarre, brief social media website that was actually a Google's attempt to create a social media account. So like Friendster was really popular. This was right before Facebook blew up. Google was like, we want to get into this. We are going to buy a social media website called Orkut, which was named after a guy whose last name was Orkut, which is a hilarious move to be like, it would be like if Facebook was called Zuckerberg.
Well, he's following the example, of course, of Clarence Twitter, you know?
Yes, exactly.
That's so stupid.
Right. It's just like really bizarre and maybe shows to like this was before CEOs realized that they were public figures. So he was like, man, nobody will care if I name this fucking thing after my name.
Who cares?
Orkut basically did not work as a business and long firm. It totally flopped in America. It did have a few places it was very successful in. The funniest place it was successful in was Finland for a brief time.
Hell yeah.
Because Orkut in Finnish means multiple sexual climaxes.
That's beautiful. This is great. Everyone's sort of learning about the hidden Freudian psychosexual elements of posting online.
Yes, exactly. That is maybe the theme of all of this.
There's a libidinality to it, right?
Total, and certainly in Finland, there was briefly. They were like, awesome, dude. A new. It's like Friendster, but for busting multiple times. I don't even know what that would be like.
But also, it says here Estonia, India, and Brazil, right?
Yes. Those were the popular places. I remember I was reading that like Estonia was massive, but nobody gave a shit because Estonia is a tiny little country. Brazil, it was really popular, and that kind of seems like random. Like, why did it get popular in Brazil? But apparently, according to Broderick and some other stuff I was looking at, one of the really good qualities of Orkut was the ability to find like niche sub communities, sort of like Reddit in that way, and sort of like how I understand it is in the early days of Facebook, you could be like. Likes Bud Light or likes there's those Facebook groups. That was not super part of my internet experience, but I think a lot of people were, and it seemed like it was a big part of the Brazilian early internet or early social internet experience, and that evolved, and people got really into that, and this phrase, and this is where it sort of eventually comes back to posting about the Brazil sucking off the cat. This phrase in Brazilian culture came up, which was zoeira. I'm probably butchering it, but it's something like that, which is short for it's described here. Wait, let me find the exact. It means like to fool around, to
get silly.
Yeah, to goof basically, and. The larger phrase is a zoeira não acaba nunca, which means the zoeira never ends, which something starts to form here about kind of like riffing in a group chat, the constantly one-upping of each other, like a meme that references another meme, which references another meme, all in like rapid succession, and this sort of humor that comes out of dunking and the avalanche of content.
Yeah, like the churn itself is like a very important part of the form that like it's just sort of built in that there's a an iterativity to it, right?
I
Sort
think
of?
that's exactly right. And that actually really connects with me because that is my favorite part of posting. My favorite part of posting is in group chats because you can be iterative without like it being part of your personal brand or whatever, and you can take more swings. One of the just the last sort of internet thing I'll say on this before we return to the other stuff is something that this culture of Zuera, of whatever, meant that algorithmic social media is less successful in Brazil than chronological because you can't you can't do the riff pile on art if everything is kind of like collapsing on itself in this algorithmic way, which is why Twitter was so popular because it is chronological thing in the way that TikTok or Instagram or some of these other ones aren't. That description, everything I just said, doubles as a explanation for how we got this Brazil Timberwolves account. Like it is totally,
it's downstream of that.
It's totally downstream. You can hear this idea echoed in Barbosa's comments where he was like, I just like finding funny, fucked up videos of Timberwolves, of wolves and posting them all day. Like that's how you get there.
Yeah, like it's the goal. It's not like to shock necessarily, but it's like to stand out and like make some new funny-ish statement, which I guess is sort of like that's not unique to this sort of posting milieu, but like mimetically, just the sort of like images and videos he's using and like the effect they have is like sort of maybe, are you saying like built out of this like general like riffing one-uppingness that's like an inherent part of Brazilian Twitter?
I'm saying that, and then I'm saying if the desired goal is like play and fun of process, like we're riffing, that leads you, I think, to create much less cynical posts. Like because if the goal is, I'm trying to pop off, then you're not posting the Timberwolves eating the thing. You're posting like LaMelo Ball highlights or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it just was a full circle thing of understanding maybe like what we've lost from the culture of American basketball Twitter. Like there should be more of this style of riffing and exploding, kind of having fun on the TL.
Yeah.
And it just feels so lacking from our current American Twitter milieu as it relates to sports.
That's true. I think because everyone, I don't know, like obviously that everyone takes it more seriously is like built into it, but the reasons why they take it more seriously, I think, are worth sort of investigating. Like there's a certain posture to like any of the stan accounts, and I'm using that term very loosely, where it's like there's an explicit, like this is kind of a Muse point, this is kind of a Lake Show Yo point, where it's a straightforwardly propagandistic like voice, where basically what you're saying is like, this is not objective, like this is coming from like we are here to like do a certain amount of evangelization, and then tied in with that is like a professionalism where it's like I'm doing this to get checks through Twitter Blue or whatever, or like get more followers. Like it's a sort of, there's an internecine competitivity to it, which I find very off-putting.
Very well put. Finally, in the third act of this thing, it is, and I don't exactly know how this third act, maybe the tie-in is a tad more spiritual, but the third act of the NBA Brazilian saga is Daryl Morey coming over the top with this incredible boomer post.
Daryl Morey, who we should like start this discussion by reminding people, like has made forays into international politics in the past to great effect.
To great effect. To possibly Axis NBA defining effect.
Yeah.
And it's funny because this is just this sort of speaks to excuse this digression, but there was this great Jay Casmin Kang piece about Kyrie Irving, about how we shouldn't care what Kyrie Irving thinks about the vaccine, which I think is right. In the same way as like we shouldn't really care what Daryl Morey thinks about politics. He is a GM, right? It's like just like
there's no like your personal opinion of him can totally be like informed by this. Like I do care on that level, but also like he is not a politician. Like this isn't serious.
Yeah,
it's not that serious.
Nor has he spent probably any time thinking about this. He's like thinking about like how many minutes is Daniel House going to get?
Yeah,
which is what he should be thinking about.
Exactly.
Right. And so anyway, he and why I bring this up is because when Daryl Morey tweeted about the People's Republic of China, that was a little bit more like of a woke take. Like he was like solidarity with the People's Republic of China in their fight against. Or the People's Republic of Hong Kong, I should say. Again, their fight against.
I was going to say, yeah.
Sorry. And that is, sort of like a broadly more progressive take, whereas this post reads as broadly slightly conservative, or maybe not conservative, but like
kinda like shades of like he's spanning the libertarian liberal axis, where the point he thinks he's making is a defense of free speech, but the point he's actually making is an anti-regulation one.
Right. Like the only thing he is saying is that he listens to the All In podcast.
Yeah.
That's like, there's no sort of like.
One of the most embarrassing things you can admit in public too.
Right. Like he's not like, it's like, yeah, dude, we think you should have free speech. Like, thank you.
But it's also sort of worth considering like the arc of Daryl Morey's fame. Like he is a very interesting figure in the sort of basketball internet, honestly, of the 2000s. Like he rises to prominence as a character in a Bill Simmons column.
Right.
Dork Elvis, the Sloan Sports Conference. Like he is sort of, I think mostly inaccurately, like the public face of what is called the analytics movement. Right.
Yeah, you're right, honestly. And I generally think he has been an excellent GM. Like
totally.
He's what I would want out of my GM, which is like to take swings, to win now, to make ballsy choices. Like
he's always up to something.
Yeah, and I fuck with that. Like I think
like they could win the title this year.
Absolutely. And he is the. To your point of him being like maybe misaligned as the analytics guy is because he is analytics. Et cetera, and Harden Ball, which was analytic heads loved him. But
and he has like a coaching tree for GMs too. Like there's a lot of former Morey guys,
acolytes, yes,
throughout the league.
What he really is, and I mean this in a good way, is a star fucker. He's like, get me the fucking stars, and that's not analytics. That's like dumb brain shit. That's
this is a sort of a tangent, but like it is funny how the public conception of analytics is like the scene from Moneyball where you can like recreate LeBron James in the aggregate, where like the actual analytics say like you need to get a dog, you need to get a hooper. And a lot of the Morey market inefficiency is kind of just like get as many hoopers in there as you can, and like chemistry will figure itself out, because that's like downstream of winning is like his kind of fundamental Morey thesis, which like is kind of has like a non-trivial amount of spirituality to it. Like those Rockets teams are like uniquely cursed in a lot of ways, but I like the vision he has for like how basketball is built.
Yeah. And it's a unemotional and kind of a cold or stoic approach to team building, which is similar to analytic approach, but I agree with you. It's entirely different. It's the point. He's basically betting on winning, solving everything.
Yeah.
And it did. I completely agree. It imbued. He's an awesome figure, and it's so great that he's in Philadelphia now, because it's such a. He's so close every time. Like the Rockets were. It was so incredibly spiritually hilarious that the Rockets built a team to beat the Warriors. Of like perfect analytic basketball, and then missed 27 threes in a row. That's amazing. That is so
it is kind of tight that eventually like your percentages and your math and everything just kind of falls apart like under certain circumstances that like this is not deterministic. Like essentially that's like this vision of basketball is one where, I mean, I guess determinism is the word, where it's like if you can stack every sort of every matchup and do a 55-45 thing your way, eventually enough of those will happen and you will win. And if you just take a million threes, like eventually the percentages say you'll make 9 of them, not 0 of them out of 27. And that like there's sort of a beauty in just sometimes you miss a bunch of threes and you lose.
He's both the perfect argument for the basketball gods not existing and the perfect argument for them existing at the same time.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. So, he tweets this thing out. It's dumb. Like again, I think the only thing this really shows is that Daryl Morey is like a rich, guy, basically, who tweets like a rich guy. He's like it's the same. It's a much more toned down version of what Elon Musk or Kevin O'Connor or whomever the sort of people who are libertarian posting on Twitter and not appreciating how like stupid it makes them sound, I think.
Yeah.
But in a much more, I forgive Mary. It was one tweet. Maybe he takes it back. He's a hell of a GM. He was attempting to be liberal there, which I guess I can get behind.
The only real sin is that he took a screenshot of like the Google definition instead of doing the work of like clicking on a link and then having it not just be in that, like everyone recognizes what that box looks like. And it's like, my man, you took one step here. Like you got to just a real poster, I think would have iterated a little bit.
I agree. Yeah. To get the Webster, like there's something really kind of nice about the Webster corner.
Yeah.
So listen, that closes the book on our Brazil section of the podcast. I hope...
My last Brazil point. I once
please.
got Alex Caruso and Marcelo Huertas confused, and I thought Caruso was Brazilian until like 4 years ago. That's very embarrassing to admit. Like it's like after the Lakers title, I still thought he was. So I'm sorry to both Huertas and Caruso. I regret the error.
Well, and Huertas also the original hide behind the ref steal the ball guy. He was doing that.
That's true.
He did that before
Alvarado.
Yeah. He was like, there's a great. I loved Huertas.
He had passagios, right?
What is that?
Oh, good question. A passagio is sort of it's a Campazzo-esque, basically a pass with some extra sauce on it, where like it's like a really great assist, where like you create the movement. This is a Tommy Craig's term, but just the idea of a passaggio as this sort of like, it's beyond a good pass. It's like a great pass.
I now know exactly what you mean. I did not. I thought that,
and it implies a flair too. Like the faux Italianness, I think, is meant to imply a certain elegance to it.
He absolutely had passaggio in that case, which I thought was either a legume like a pistachio or something, or a like a disease. And that was like, oh yeah, to step away from the game.
Yeah, his career ended because he came down with passaggio, and it was just never, his conditioning was never the same after that.
No, he did have the kind of European understanding of passing angles that like was like whoop kind of thing.
That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
He was a whoop guy.
Yeah. All right, the only other big thing I wanted to talk about was the brief conversation of the James O'Keefe American Swiper controversy. But was there anything you wanted to touch before we get into that?
No, I can lead us in that. That's a very interesting thing. So basically, what happened was, I mean, I guess James O'Keefe's whole deal, he's like he's a right-wing activist guy whose whole thing is like tricking people into conversations to saying embarrassing things and like getting them on tape and like trying to get them fired. And he's targeted like Planned Parenthood, the Hillary Clinton campaign, like Acorn, NPR, CNN. Like he's a real piece of shit, scummy guy who like passes himself off as a reporter. And what's interesting about this ESPN report about one of his charges doing this to the Washington Commanders is that like they present him as a sort of like value neutral quasi journalist guy instead of like who he actually is. And the story involves an O'Keefe reporter getting on Hinge and setting up a date with a VP of content for the Washington Commanders, and then getting him on tape saying kind of some wild shit, kind of spitting facts a little bit, but also like getting a little out of pocket at times.
Totally. I have a lot of sympathy as somebody who has both been on many Hinge dates and hope that none of them are recorded. I have a lot of sympathy for this VP of content. Like, you know, my guess is what he ended up getting fired for was the comments about Goodell, because he was like, Goodell's a puppet, all that stuff. But like, his takes were fairly measured. I mean, he was like a lot. It's a lot of the two main things it seemed to be was like, who are the fans, and he was like somewhat being flippant about the He
said they were mouth breathers.
He was like, he was like, they're mouth breathers. But it was funny because he was originally like gave this kind of eloquent class conscious answer where he was like, it's a lot of low income folks with interesting, you know, kind of more different sort of non-coastal sensibility. And like, if he had just stopped there, you know, it would have been okay. But
it's the part where he says he has like, he called, I got to get the exact quote here, but he said that, sorry, let me just find this real quick.
No, that's all good.
It was the word inherent. He said, another big chunk is low income African Americans that comes from a community that is inherently very homophobic. Like, I can see what he's saying there, but just like the word inherent sort of like has a tinge of race science to it. That's honestly one of the only things I took issue with what he said. Like when he says, I don't think the commissioner hates gay people or black people. It's Jerry Jones who really runs the NFL. Like, that's clearly what he was fired for.
Right. Totally. And right. And everything, like, he was like, again, to your point, he was also really spitting in a few places where he was like, the NFL doesn't give a shit about diversity initiatives. Like, they just care about their bottom line, which is like, duh, right? Like, it's a fucking NFL. Like, but and you know, whatever. It's just a very kind of like unfortunate, bizarre, cursed thing that this guy got recorded on a Hinge date. I do want to talk though about this sort of like honeypot technique because it is wild.
Yes.
And I guess I want to say a few things. If I'm on a Hinge date and somebody's like, can you repeat again what you were saying about
as they lean close to you?
Yeah, like about low income. Also, both ripping espresso martinis, which I noticed, which kind of a hilarious move.
Oh, that's a really good detail. That's very Hinge coded, I have to say.
Yes. Yeah, this place has great espresso martinis.
It's time to just have an espresso martini and just let you know race realism in my NFL locker room. Exactly. Which honestly, like, the formula of going on a date, right, is to get someone in an environment, and the espresso martini is to get someone in an environment where they'll be more braggadocious, right?
Right. Yo, exactly. Like to get them, you know, talking with they at least expect it. I wonder. I guess I'm curious about how much flirting was going on. I'm like, I want to know what was there, because this is like this. I am revealing like something about myself here, but I would be far more embarrassed to get caught like trying to smooch on the sidewalk and her being like, I don't think so, than getting caught, or like I have to go, you know, it's late, I have to go home.
Yeah.
Then getting caught like wiling out about my employer. Like,
yeah.
And so a part of me looked at this. I'm like, damn, dude, he dodged a bullet. He got caught doing race science and stuff, but at least he didn't get caught being lame.
That's a good reading.
Yeah, what do you think about that take?
Interesting. Now you're the T-Wolves Brazil poster here. So you're saying that of the humiliations, sexual is more profound than professional. Like,
absolutely.
You would. Yeah. Okay.
I'm sprawled out. I'm like on the Freud couch right now. I'm like, yes, that's exactly right.
Interesting. And if you were to post about this, which animal and what act would they be engaging would you choose to represent your sort of agita around this?
It would be a giraffe putting 2 espresso martinis in its mouth.
Interesting. And the symbol of
What do you think about
something a friend brought up about this last night is like O'Keefe as a figure is like the ESPN thing really just presents him as like he's just a balls and strikes guy, which is totally insane. But also like the outcome he's getting here is kind of muddled. Like you can tell that he the stuff about NFL DEI being a sham is like probably where he's like getting the most engorged. But like if you think about it, it's like, okay, this guy said his players are homophobic. Like that's the thing everyone's kind of leading with. And then he gets fired. It's basically like the Commanders are kind of saying, no, we are not homophobic. And so is O'Keefe kind of like, is this a win for DEI initiatives in NFL locker rooms? Like, is O'Keefe kind of doing what he thinks he's railing against here?
That's a really good point. He has basically provided the NFL as woke propaganda machine a bullet. They can be like, yeah, dude, we fired this guy for insinuating that we're homophobic. We as the NFL, we cannot tolerate that.
We're standing up to anti-homophobic or anti-homophobia, something in that.
Yeah, we're standing up to homophobia, I think would be the phrase.
Yeah, that's true. Anti-homophobia is also known as, that's facts. But,
so yeah, I did investigate becoming an American swiper, which is the program of the O'Keefe Shadow program. It's a pretty funny application process, which I did go through until I had to put my phone number down. They ask, it's like, what type of investigation would you like to be doing? And they very like, they reference the type of stuff, but it's very clear which one is like, do you want to go on a date with a person and like honeypot them into saying stuff? And I did click that one because I wanted to.
Yeah, you could be a soldier on the front lines.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who could I like honeypot like.
Yeah, I was thinking who would be a good evil, however you want to define that, person to take down. And this whatever you say is medical advice as your analyst for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, the closest thing I can get is I once saw on my Hinge standouts a former contestant on Survivor who their shtick on Survivor was that they were a young conservative woman. So it's conceivable that I could honeypot her.
Yeah, that's like within the realm of possibility, it seems like.
Yeah, but the big thing in my way with that is that roses would have to work because she was in my standout. So I don't think she's seeing it.
You asked a question, which is who is the funniest NBA person that this could have happened to?
Yes.
And you posited Sam Presti, which I think is a great answer.
Yes, I wanted to bring this up because I was trying to think like what Sam Presti or like who would be funny, and Sam Presti being like, I'm not gonna fucking trade those draft picks to anybody. Like he's on a date at the like Oklahoma City World of Beer, and he's like, no, dude, I'm fucking yeah. He's like, I don't give a fuck what Josh Giddey did.
Sam Hinkie would also be good.
Sam Hinkie would be excellent
because he has some real Jason Calacanis brain takes, and if you put those out there, like that would be, again, not an endorsement of the O'Keefe method. Fuck that guy, but also like it would be kind of funny if it happened.
No, it would be Sam Presti's. Yeah, I mean, sorry, not Sam. Sam Hinkie. I meant it would be really
funny. Joe Lacob. Like someone reminded me the other day that his dogs are named after Ayn Rand characters.
What?
Yeah, his dogs are named after Ayn Rand characters. What are they? It's John Galt and Howard Rourke. And it was, I think, friend of the show Eric Freeman figured this out via Instagram stalking. But also, like, there's other Lacob lore. Like, the only thing, as someone who's about to become a fan of the WNBA team is going to start, like, I'm going to be a Lacob stan. So I'm endorsing the following behavior. This is medical advice. After the Warriors won the title in 2015, he gave an interview to Men's Health where he was like, I forget the exact quote, but he's basically like, my wife and I took the trophy into the bedroom and enjoyed ourselves, is like the gist of what he fucked the trophy is what I'm hearing here.
Interesting.
Yeah, which also, like, again, bringing us back. This is we didn't really set out to do this theme, but bringing us back to the sort of hidden psychosexuality of basketball and posting. Like, there's a lot going on there.
That dude, yeah, he would be really funny. No, I mean all these guys. I mean they all have, I'm sure, insane secrets. Well, and we, on the other hand, do not have any secrets. You can't get anything out of us that we wouldn't say into a microphone.
Let me. Here's the quote he gave.
Okay, yeah.
I'll leave it to the imagination, he says, grinning. We had a lot of fun with it. It's sort of unrelated. I'd just like everyone to picture in their head what the Larry O'Brien trophy looks like. It's a golden basketball going into a golden, slightly tapered cylinder hoop. Yeah, like he says, use your imagination.
He's like on a fourth date on Ashley Madison with a reporter, and he's like, "Yeah, the whole thing fit in my ass. The entire, I was able to fit the entire Larry O'Brien in my ass."
And so just know, when you see Jason Tatum lift the trophy in, Game 5 in Boston, they're beating Dallas. Just know that was in a place, that was in a dark little place.
Mm-hmm. Like he's light years ahead in terms of his sexual modalities. All right. Well, listen, thank you. If this is our first pod, subscribe wherever you get them. We're trying to figure out where all of that is. We are not a video podcast. We are anti-algorithm, which means we are pro sending this to a friend. If you like it, send it to them. The one thing I will say, I should have said this at the top, but when you're listening to a new podcast, it always stinks the first time you listen to it. So if you were lukewarm about this show, listen to, and I don't mean like the pod stinks. I mean the experience with it stinks, because you're like, wait, these aren't the friends I'm used to hearing in my ear. So, give it 2 weeks and then listen to it again. See if we grow on you.
Yeah, and our recommended way of sharing is to navigate to the whatever podcast app you have on your desktop, print that page out, and then bring it to the bar with your friend and slide it across the surface over espresso martinis. Perhaps maybe you're on a date and you're like, I want to impress them with I'm into physical media, because you've made this media physical. That's like a very beautiful gesture of friendship towards us and to them. So if you want to spread love, that's my recommendation.
Completely. All right. We will see you next week.
Blown my brains out right on the air, right in the middle of the 7 o'clock news.
Get a hell of a rating, I'll guarantee you that. 50 share easy.
You think so?
Sure. We could make a series out of it.